name's Rachel Edgar. I've worked in schools now for about 15 years in a variety of different roles. Currently, I'm head of teaching and learning in a British curriculum school in Dubai, and I've worked here for 2 years. As Graham said, I'd like to make this as interactive as possible without us actually being face to face, which I know is difficult. So if you do have any questions along the way, then please do pop those into the chat box. Okay, let's get started then. This is the content for the session. It's designed for senior leaders, middle leaders, and anybody who really wants to truly embed and sustain coaching in their school. And the material strategies that I'm going to share with you come from a variety of different sources and things that I've done over a number of years and things that I feel have really worked for me. And we're going to look, as it says, at why coaching, first of all, and just thinking about looking at the different coaching programs and how they might work best for you. Also about empowering your staff, training your staff as peer coaches, and trying to make sure that they buy in to the program as well, and how best to support your colleagues. Those that are struggling as teachers, those who want to move from good to outstanding, or really anybody, because I would certainly go from this point of view that coaching, or we all need to be coached in some way, regardless of our capability. Okay, I've got a, I think I've gone a little bit too far there. Oh. Okay, I just want to ask you a question first of all about coaching and whether you think, or why you think we should coach, and do you think that coaching actually makes a difference to teaching staff? So if you could just interact a little, just put something into the chat box. Do you think coaching works, or what your experience of coaching is so far at your school? Hello, Ritika. Okay, so I'll just give you a couple of minutes. Okay, so the question I asked is, why should we coach, and do you think coaching makes a difference to teacher quality? And perhaps what your experience of coaching is so far at your own school. Okay, give us something a little bit to reflect on. I think this quote's really, there's a couple of quotes I'm going to look at, but this one's really, really interesting, from John Jones, who says, the good news is, as a teacher, you make a difference. The bad news is, as a teacher, you also make a difference. And obviously, teacher quality, all of the research suggests that teacher quality really, really does matter. And staff, as we know, are the most valuable resource as a school that we have. Expectations, I think, are really important. I think expectations in a school are something that need to be set out pretty much straight away. And we as leaders have a duty to ensure that we create those expectations that teachers will continually improve their practice and keep that focus on things that make a difference to our students. As Dylan Williams says, not because teachers are not good enough, but that we can all be better. Yeah, absolutely. Alka's just said it's a great way to support staff since it's not perceived as threatening to begin with. Absolutely. And changing habits of adults is a very complex issue. And this issue is really important about it being a non-threatening thing to do. And the investment is relatively small, but the impact of coaching is significant. And I think another thing that's really important is finding this precious commodity of time, using our outstanding practitioners, getting buy-in in the sense that we involve teachers and that they can be trained to lead CPD, to work with our underperforming colleagues and also anybody who wants to be better. And as leaders, that we lead the way. I said on the first slide, this Dave Brailsford quote, which I always also find really interesting, where he says that you can get more from a £900,000 rider with a coach than you would from a £1 million rider without one. And Dave Brailsford, if you're not familiar with him, was coach for the British cycling in London 2012. And he talks about this concept of marginal gains, and whether you've heard that before, but that if we break down every aspect of an athlete's performance and then make just a 1% improvement in every aspect. So they looked at things like nutrition, fitness, even the kind of pillows that the athletes were using. And then if we broke that down and improved just each bit by 1%, that the actual overall performance would be significantly enhanced. And I think this is a useful tool, this concept, that if we break down those elements of practice that make a teacher effective and practice them through coaching, that we will see sustained improvement in the classroom. And it also eliminates